Değerli izleyiciler, Avrupa Konseyi Parlamenterler Meclisi'nden sizlere bir kez daha merhaba
Yeah,
diyoruz.
hello from the Council of Europe Parliamentary Assembly.
Bu programımızda
In
Avrupa
our
Konseyi
program, we
Parlamenterler
are
Meclisi Sol grubunun başkan yardımcısını misafir ettik.
Vice Chair of
Tabii,
left group of the Council of
önce
Europe
hemen
is our
kendisine
guest.
dönüp hoş geldin diyelim.
Welcome, Andrei.
Andrei Hunko, soyez bienvenue à notre programme. Pardon, bunu Türkçe devam etmem gerekirdi. Fransızca söyledim. Kusura bakmayın. Evet, değerli izleyiciler, biz bu programımızda
In our program,
hem Avrupa Konseyi içerisindeki
we are going to discuss the activities of the Council of Europe and the relations between Ankara and Berlin. And additionally, after the putting Turkey under the monitoring procedure, and we want Mr. Hunko how he evaluates on this process. Additionally, he was targeted by the government of Turkey, because accusing you of helping the terrorist activities, and they don't want you to go to Turkey. What happened, and how do you evaluate on this kind of problems, Andrei?
Hangi noktadan başlamak gerekir?
You are free to start with any subject that I mentioned.
Let me say some words about the monitoring on Turkey. Turkey was released from the monitoring procedure here in the Parliamentary Assembly in 2004 and was in a post-monitoring dialogue. It was something in between. And we have a debate here in the Parliamentary Assembly, I would say since 1 year, to reopen the monitoring procedure because of a lot of problems in Turkey, human rights violations, a lot of journalists in prison, and especially after the reaction to the attempted coup in Turkey, and what went far beyond all was is in relation to rule of law and democracy and human rights. So there was a heavy debate in January this year, and a majority of the Assembly wanted to reopen the monitoring on January. But the Bureau, with one vote, decided not to reopen and wait until April. And in between, we had the referendum in Turkey. I was one of the election observers for Council of Europe. And in April, it was the monitoring procedure was reopened. And I think this is a good decision. It's not doesn't mean to punish Turkey, but to have a closer look to the problems of human rights, democracy, rule of law. I think this is necessary, and of course for each government it is not. They don't like it to have reopened a monitoring procedure, but I think for Turkey and for the people in Turkey, this was a very good decision.
Peki sizin bu dönemde özellikle hedef alınmanız ve nasıl alındınız, bunu siz nasıl
how was you targeted by the Turkish government, and how
bu siyasi bir mesaj
it happened? Do you think it was a political message?
Yes. I was observing the referendum process in Diyarbakir and Mardin, together with my colleague from Austria, Stefan Schennach, and we were the only one going to the Kurdish areas, so to the southeast of Turkey. And when we came to Diyarbakir, we had problems with the police there. 2 hours were prevented from observing, and same in Mardin. And of course, we reported all our observations, and there were a lot of problems, as you know, with the unstamped ballots. After a very critical press conference in Ankara on Monday after the referendum day, which was said that the referendum there was no level playing field, there was a lot of problems with the unstamped ballots, there were problems with the observations, after this statement of the OSCE and Council of Europe, I was targeted by Turkish officials, even by the foreign minister, and later by Erdogan himself, as being a sympathizer of terrorism. And he used an old photo from 2013 in Germany, where was a debate about the role of PKK in the when Daesh tried to kill the Yazidi in the Shengal Mountains. And there was a debate in Germany where even the CSU leader of the parliament, Conservative Party, debated openly sending weapons to PKK. And during that time, we said it's strange. You want to send weapons on the one side, and on the other side, the symbols of PKK are forbidden in Germany. And during that day, I showed the symbol and said it would be better to lift first the symbol so we started a campaign for decriminalization, which does not mean that we are politically in favor. So this was an old photo. This was used now during the referendum campaign to show to the people, and you know the power of pictures, and to say I'm a supporter of PKK and I'm came to Turkey to with the flag and as election observer, which is ridiculous. So I was heavily attacked, even by the president, but the international bodies here, Council of Europe and even my government in Germany, they refused this attacks on me. There was now in the report on the election by Council of Europe is a clear rejection of these attacks on the integrity of the election observers. One word: the OSCE election observers are experts on it, and they personally are more or less neutral. Council of Europe works different. We have different political currents here, and from each current, according to the strengths, we have representatives. Of course, I'm a leftist, and I have my political position, and I made it clear before. I'm not a technocrat with no political idea, but when I go to election observation, I have to fulfill the code of conduct. I cannot campaign for yes or no in the referendum, or campaign for this or that party, in the sense that I go to the meetings and say vote for this or vote for that. I didn't do this, but of course I have my political point of view, and I'm in the past, and this cannot be used to attack the integrity of the election observation bodies. Turkish government wanted, with my case, to show that the whole international election observation bodies are biased, and that this very critical reports worthless. This was a political game behind this.
Peki Almanya'da da kimi hukuki merciler, mahkemeler size karşı kimi davalar açtı.
In Germany also some courts opened the cases against you. How do you evaluate on this politically and legally? Because of flags. I mean, I'm talking about before.
Yes, this is a strange thing because
Garip bir şey.
In Germany,
Almanya'da
the ban of the symbols of Kurdish movement
Kürt hareketinin işaretlerinin
are
yasaklanması
dealt with differently in the several federal states in Germany.
farklı federasyon
For example,
bölgelerde farklı
in
şekilde
2013,
uygulanıyor. Örneğin
when
2013'te
there was this liberation of the Yazidis in the Shengal Mountains, one of my colleagues raised the flag in the same sense I did it later in Bavaria, a federal state in Germany, and she was attacked by the court in Germany. And I live in another federal state in North Rhine-Westphalia, and I wanted to show, look here in my federal state, nothing happens, which helped her. She could say, look, in North Rhine-Westphalia, there's no problem to raise it, and I even asked the police to do something against me in Cologne, but nothing happens because it was not persecuted in North Rhine-Westphalia, but different in this is because the police in Germany is linked to the federal states, and each federal state has a bit a different culture to step in for if there is banned symbols or not to step in. So this is different in different German states. And there was as well in the campaign we made a motion in the parliament to lift the ban of PKK, and we and some of the MPs as well showed the symbols of PKK, and there was no problem because this was part of the political debate, and we just showed this is a symbol, and there was no persecution in the parliament. But personally, against me, there was never any problem.
Benim hakkımda öyle bir sorun asla olmadı.
Bu konu özellikle bundan birkaç daha doğrusu 6. ayın 20'si olsa gerek Berlin'de bir
On 20th of June in Berlin there was a manifestation, and
Almanya'da
the symbols of YPG, UIPJ symbols were banned. Maybe you can say something. And because that people had these symbols, police attacked and some people were injured. The ban of these symbols and the fight against Daesh in Syria by the Kurdish people in the world is supported, and even the United States gave weapons to the Kurdish. How do you see this? It is very difficult to understand to forbid these signs, symbols. Why Germany is forbidding these symbols?
Well, this is really very strange. It is a new ban of, especially of symbols of Syrian Kurdish organizations of YPG, YPG, and this was done by the German Interior minister,
Bu Almanya İçişleri Bakanlığı
probably
tarafından karar alındı.
through pressure from Turkey.
Herhalde Türkiye'den bir baskı
And there are
oluşmuştur.
still, I would say, still very close links between German state and Turkish state,
Alman devletiyle Türkiye
especially in
arasında
some
çok
areas.
yakın bir ilişki olduğunu düşünüyorum. Özellikle bazı konularda.
So this is very. We criticize this heavily.
Bunu
The new
çok
ban of
şiddetli bir şekilde
especially of
eleştiriyoruz.
Syrian quotes. As you know, international community is not
uluslararası kurum,
seeing
uluslararası
PID
kamuoyu,
or YPG as terrorist organizations.
PYD, YPG,
US is not
terörist
seen,
organizasyon olarak
they
görmüyor.
don't see them as terrorist organizations, but Erdogan is seeing
Sadece
them
Erdoğan
as terrorist
onları
organizations,
terörist
and he's
örgüt
trying
olarak
to
görüyor,
push
örgütler olarak görüyor.
all over the world for
Ve bunu bütün dünyada
treating them like
onları
terrorist
tehdit etmek
organizations.
ve
And
onlara
there
terörist
is
bir
I don't know how it works
yaklaşım gösterilmesini sağlamak için
concrete, but there is still very strong links between Turkish and
hala Türkiye
German
ve
state,
Alman
and this is
devletleri arasında çok güçlü
is a big
ilişkiler,
problem. And we have to
var.
remember even the PKK ban. It
Şunu
was an
hatırlamamız
initiative,
gerekiyor ki
especially of
PKK'de,
Germany, of the then Interior Minister Manfred Kanter in
yasaklanmıştı.
'94, and he is
1994'te yapılmıştı.
he's himself is
Kol hükümeti dönemiydi değil mi?
sorry.
It was about during the Helmut Kohl government.
Yeah, it was. He was the Interior Minister of Helmut Kohl,
Evet.
and
Kendisi Helmut Kohl'un İçişleri
he is
Bakanıydı.
later was he was judged on other issues, on corruption and so these
Yolsuzluklar
kind of
nedeniyle
issues.
yargılandı.
But he pushed through the ban and pushed through the ban of PKK in the other European countries. It was not
diğer ülkelere de
most
yaydı.
European countries, not by themselves, have made the decision to ban PKK, but this was pushed through by Manfred Kanter through the European level. This we very much criticize, because this doesn't mean that we politically are in favor of what is PKK doing or always what is PID doing, but we are deeply convinced that especially the Turkish Kurdish problems cannot be solved through criminalization and through on a military through a military way, but only through a peace process. As we had some elements of peace process before 2015, and to have a peace process, you need to decriminalize the actors, and this is the experience of all peace processes in the world. Look to the Irish conflict, for example.
İsterseniz
If you want,
siz Almanya ile Ankara'nın ilişkilerinden bahsediyorsunuz.
You talked about the relations of Germany and Turkey.
Tarihsel yönü, yani tarihsel nedenlerden mi kaynaklanıyor?
What are the reasons behind this? Is it historical? It is NATO? It's Gladio? What are the
Yes, I was very much thinking about this in the last years.
Yıllardır düşündüm.
I come more and more to the conclusion that it is a mixture of historical reasons, and sometimes I feel a similarity to 100 years ago during the Armenian genocide, where there was a close cooperation between the German Kaiser and Germany during that time, and the Ottoman Empire. And if you read the books about the German Lepsius, he was a theologue. He tried to publish what's happening with the Armenians in Turkey, and the German government said, we are not interested, we don't want to hear about the Armenian issue, we have our interests in in together with Ottoman Empire, and as long we have this interest, we are not interested in the case of the Armenians. And sometimes I feel the same now. It's a deep historical roots, and I see that German government has interest to be present in the Near and Middle East, in Turkey and the whole region, Syria. Now we will have big changes there, and for the German government, Turkey is the main partner in this area, and for this they don't want to have so much criticisms on what's going on in the country concerning human rights, democracy, development to dictatorship in Turkey. And but at the same time, there's in the public in Germany is a lot of criticisms. People don't like Erdogan. People in Germany, 95% say you cannot trust him. It's one of the worst figures of all international actors. It's worse than Putin or worse than Trump and all these others. And there's a lot of pressure on the government. So on the one hand, you have this long this interest and historical ties. On the other hand, you have a lot of pressure, and this leads sometimes to zigzag politics now of the German government, and even the pressure concerning the soldiers in Incirlik. You know that we had German soldiers in Incirlik with Tornado jets, and they are now. Last week we decided to keep them away from Turkey. We, the Left Party, we called for this since months to bring back the soldiers to Germany, but the government now decided to bring them to Jordan to be part of the Syrian war, maybe to be part of the struggle against Daesh, but you never know what's going on in Syria. There are so many coalitions. So there was enough pressure to force the government to not to use anymore the military base of Incirlik, because Erdogan said we, the parliamentarians, are not allowed, or he will keep an eye on it, who is coming, but not in general. We are not allowed to visit the soldiers. And in Germany, the military is linked to the parliament, not the government. So it's a Parlamentsarmee, we call it. The parliament decides on sending soldiers. And this means that each parliamentarian should have the right to visit the soldiers. And Erdogan said when terrorists from Die Linke, like me, like Andre Hunko, or Sevim Dağdelen, or Alexander Neu, or others, we will reject them to visit the soldiers. So this was the reason why officially the government sent back the soldiers.
Ama biz resmi olarak askerlerin Almanya'ya gönderilmesini istedik.
Bu İncirlik'teki olay artı Erdoğan'ın işte Almanya yöneticilerini
the incident in Incirlik and Erdogan attacked German politicians with accusing them as being Nazists and Hitler. And
siyasi ilişki değişimine sebep olacak gelişmeler.
Do you think this attacks, the developments in Incirlik, the attacks of Erdogan on German politics, is a real politics, or only it's for a time?
Well, I would say it's mainly for interior politics. It's for the Turkish interior politics. Erdogan, after losing his elections in June 2015, he started a new strategy, bringing in the ultra-nationalists for him, having polarization in the society to fulfill his aim of becoming a autocratic president of a new great Turkey in 2023. This is his great aim. And for this he needs this polarization and these kind of attacks to foster, to push the nationalist feelings inside Turkey and to make him stronger. But of course Erdogan knows that this is, he don't believe, I don't think he really believes in these words. It's politics, it's tactical, it's for his supporters in Turkey, but I cannot take it very serious.
Örneğin işte G20 zirvesinde
there will be G20 summit in Germany, and Germany warned him not to come with his bodyguards to Germany because of the example in the United States. As if there is a tension between Germany and Turkey now.
Of course there's tension. There is tension. This is very clear. I think it's incredible. I saw the pictures of the bodyguards beating protesters in the United States. This is incredible, and it may not happen, and must not happen in Germany. So concerning G20, there will be, I think, the whole concept of G20 is a big problem. It's the first time G20 or G7, G8 is organized in an urban area. The last time it was in Genoa, 2001, and this was led to one death. Somebody was shot by police, and I think it's because there are always protests against G20 or G7, G8 because of people coming there like Erdogan or Trump, or because of this is not a legitimized international body like the United Nations or Council of Europe or something else, and it's very we criticize it very much that the decision was made to have it in Hamburg, which is a urban area, and this will lead to heavy repressions on the local population as well. Whole areas of the city will be blocked. Yes, and of course there will a lot of people protesting because of Erdogan. Others will come to protest against Trump or against the whole concept, and this will be a very dense weekend and days there.
Bu G7 zirvesinde sizin şeyiniz nedir? Yani siyasi yaklaşımınız, fikriyatınız hem şahsi olarak hem de Die Linke olarak.
What is your evaluation on personally and as Die Linke? What's your evaluation on G7, G20 system?
I think these are not legitimized bodies like United Nations, like Council of Europe, and it just means that the main leaders of the world they declare themselves, or the biggest countries of the world, they declare themselves as the leaders of the world, and they will make decisions without the international community, and these decisions are. I have great hope in these decisions, so I criticize the concept of G7 and G20. And Die Linke as well. And my party is as well going to protest in Hamburg.
Almanya'da seçim yarışı başladı.
In Germany now there will be elections and the campaigns started. There will be a struggle between Martin Schulz and Merkel.
Kapışmanın ya da yarışın neresindesiniz?
Where are you in this struggle between
şeyiniz nedir? Yani
Merkel and Schulz? What will be your main message shortly?
Well, I'm not sure if there will be a real struggle between Martin Schulz and Angela Merkel, because Martin Schulz, when he came as a candidate of Social Democrats, there was a Schulz hype. He became very popular for some weeks and then fell down again on a quite low level of 23-25% for Social Democrats. So this was different, let's say, to the hype on Jeremy Corbyn in Britain or others, because there was no, in my point of view, there was no real substance. It was just a media hype and with pictures and so on, but there was no content. Real content behind it, because Schulz was not a newcomer coming from outside or coming from real opposition like Jeremy Corbyn. He was the longest standing presidium member of SPD. So it seems at the moment that there's no real chance for Schulz to win the election. Concerning our party, we want to be the third force in Germany. We want to keep this. We want to be stronger. My aim is to have 12%, which would be a good sign in Germany, and to keep out the right-wing populists in Germany out of parliament. And the main message is for us is social justice. We have a lot of social problems in Germany. For example, for the elderly, we have very deregulated jobs and people working the whole months, and in the end don't have enough money to survive. This is due to laws introduced even by social democratic government of Schröder. So social justice is a big issue. Inequality is a big issue, and of course the international peace orientation. This is for us very important. So we have these two main messages: social justice and peace internationally.
Uluslararası barış ve sosyal adalet bizim için en önemli şeyler.
Son sorum olsun.
My last question.
Yani biliyorum burada özellikle sosyal hak ve adalet konusunda yoğun
I know that you are very active in social rights and justice, and you have a report on this. What is your message on the rights of workers, the conditions of labor, working class? What is your message for this?
So at the moment, I'm here in the assembly. I'm rapporteur on inequality, income inequality. This is a huge problem internationally. We can see that inequality between the rich and the poor, the income inequality is growing on the international level, and as well between regions. And this is social injustice, of course, and we are criticizing this, but this is as well an economic problem, because the more inequality you have, the more unstable the economy is going, and if people don't have the possibility to to buy things because they earn so few money, then there is no demand in the economy, and this leads to problems. Now we can see that a lot of international bodies like OECD, like IMF, even IMF, like ILO, like International Parliamentary Unity, they're realizing that inequality is a big problem for the societies, and I don't want to live in a society where the rich people then are separated and have to be police around them, and I want to be in live in a society where there is more or less equal level, and there are studies as well that these societies which are more equal are the more happy societies, because there's not so much fear. So this is one issue I'm working here in the Council of Europe. I think it's a very important issue.
Bitiriyorum. Son bir mesajınızı alayım bizim izleyicilerimize.
Your last
Benim sormadığım
message.
ya da aklınızda olan söylemek istediğiniz.
Anything that you want to give a message to our audiences?
I think we have very difficult times, of course, in Turkey, in Kurdish areas, a lot of problems, but maybe my last message is that we never should give up the spirit to fight for the better.
Son mesajım şu: asla daha iyi bir yaşam için mücadeleyi bırakmayacağız.
Programımıza katıldığınız için.
Thank you very much, Andrei and Co, for attending to our program. Thank you very much.
Değerli izleyiciler, biz programımızın sonuna geldik. 15 gün sonra farklı bir konu, farklı konuklar ile buluşmak dileğiyle. Hoşça kalın, esen kalın.